Sir, we've had another situation. A code red.
What? This is the third time in 2 weeks. This is unacceptable. How could this happen?
We think there was a system glitch. We're looking into it.
Damn it, you're all useless. I'll figure out what happened. But in the meantime, tell the others to be on high alert. I want more patrols and more rounds.
Right away, sir.
If you see anything even remotely suspicious, report it immediately. This absolutely cannot happen again. Got it?
Yes, sir. Understood.
In our last episode, we helped many of the scientists in the Institute with some of their side quests, but there are other scientists who need more complex work from us. Heading into the bioscience lab, we can chat with Isaac Karlin, which will be a pleasure because this guy's a ray of sunshine.
Please resist any urge you might feel to eat the specimens in the hydroponic garden.
Isaac.
Well, if it isn't our visitor from the past. Some time ago, we covertly replaced the family patriarch at Warwick homestead with a synth. He's been field testing a variety of genetically modified seeds that I created. Take this packet of seeds to the Roger Warwick synth. Be careful with these. They represent years of genetic manipulation and enhancement. Hopefully you can manage such a simple task.
Seeds for what?
A melon plant that will, if my calculations are correct, be able to grow even in heavily irradiated soil. The fruit it bears will be perfectly healthy and edible. Or so I hope.
Just give me the seeds.
Patience, man. Rushed work is shoddy work, and we do not do shoddy work here.
Don't patronize me, pencil neck.
I meant no offense. Just, well, let's move on.
It won't be a problem.
I trust that it won't. Now listen closely, because this next part is vitally important. When Roger asks how your trip was, tell him some blood bugs chased you halfway across the Commonwealth. That code phrase will identify you as an agent of the Institute. Also, you must be discreet. Do nothing to draw attention to yourself or raise suspicion.
Maybe I should get a secret decoder ring, too.
A secret decoder ring? What a fascinating suggestion. I'll have to look into that.
And if your synth has been compromised?
Then you'll have to improvise. You seem clever. I'm sure you'll manage.
A code phrase? What a joke.
No, sir. It is no joke. You had better start taking our work more seriously if you intend to have a future here.
I understand.
Now hurry on to Warwick Homestead so we can begin the experiment.
With that, we begin the quest, Building a Better Crop, and I think that's probably one of the best dialogue lines I have come across in the game. Nate being sarcastic, talking about a decoder ring, and Karlin doesn't get it and takes him seriously, because of course he does. He's an Institute scientist. He doesn't have a sense of humor. Everything about that was brilliant. But good gravy, how many Institute scientists do we have to meet who are absolute complete jerks? Ugh. At any rate, because we were dutiful in our snooping of Institute terminals, we know a bit about this experiment. We read about the Warwick Homestead Initiative on one of the Institute Bioscience terminals earlier, which explained the entire experiment, which Karlin briefly summarized for us just now, and showed us that the Institute has actually already made a delivery of several packets of seeds to the homestead. At least one batch was destroyed in transit. I'm guessing they used coursers to deliver these seeds in the past, but batch P761 was ready for shipment, and I guess that's the batch we're delivering today. The seed packet looks like a white brick of Institute food. In fact, the box says assigned nutrition on it. Guess they just reused an Institute food box for this. Though, you'd think they'd use something a bit more discreet. You'd think they wouldn't send a box stamped with Institute logos on it to their undercover synth. At any rate, we now need to go to the Warwick homestead, a location we haven't been to before. It's in the far southeastern section of the Commonwealth, a pretty inhospitable place. We pass by Quincy, the Atom Cats, and a bunch of Norwegian ghoul pirates along the way. But at last, we arrive at the Warwick homestead. Heading inside the main building, we find it empty, though this is clearly where they all sleep. There are beds and tables everywhere. Heading back outside, we see the family coming in for the evening, and we can stop to talk with the synth, known as Roger Warwick.
Didn't run into too much trouble coming out here, I hope.
Do I look like a delivery man to you?
Well, let's see. Dirty clothes, warm boots. Yep. Looks about right. So how was your trip? Any trouble with the local wildlife?
I've seen better. And I've seen worse.
Right down the middle, huh? Well, I'll take that over bad news any day.
It was terrible. Everything here is trying to kill me.
Sorry to hear it, friend. Commonwealth can be a dangerous place. No doubt about that. Well, feel free to have a look around. And come see me if you need anything.
If we don't use the code phrase, Roger Warwick just walks off. However, if we use the code phrase...
Some blood bugs chased me halfway across the Commonwealth, but I made it.
Yeah, those things can be pretty territorial. Glad they didn't catch you. Since you traveled all this way, how about a quick tour? Right this way, if you please. I'll show you what we've been up to here at the Warwick homestead.
And with that, the synth who replaced the real Roger Warwick walks off into a corner of the property. We can follow him to the crumbling retaining wall by the marsh.
You got the seeds? Good. I'll take those. Listen, I need your help. The whole operation's in danger of being exposed.
The Institute builds an underground scientific utopia, and you're their crowning achievement. The future is fucked.
You try working alone with no support for months on end. See how easy it is.
And you need me to bail your ass out.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can, but I'm on my own up here.
Why? What happened? Tell me the problem and I'll see what I can do.
I think my foreman, Bill Sutton, suspects what I really am. He's been spying on me and having secret conversations with our farmhand, Cedric. Now, he's starting to work on my wife and kids, trying to turn them against me too.
Turning family against family is a fiendish act.
They aren't your wife and kids. Don't lose perspective here.
I know that. It's a habit, I guess. I've gotten used to saying it.
Just how dangerous is this foreman? Is he a real threat?
I don't know, maybe. He's heard all the same boogeyman stories as everyone else. A lot of people up here are scared. They're seeing synths around every corner.
Jesus, what a mess. You've really screwed up.
Look, I'm on my own out here. I've got no backup and no support. I'm doing the best I can.
They just need to be convinced Bill's wrong. That won't be hard.
I hope so. Anyway, there's more to it. Cedric's vanished. Bill says he had to visit a sick relative, but I think he went to get help.
Do you have any idea where Cedric went? You have no idea where Cedric is. You're hopeless, Roger.
Of course I don't. The whole point of their plan was to keep me from finding out. But I have a feeling that someone around here does.
Someone must have seen where he went.
I have an idea about that.
Oh, great. This just gets better and better.
If Bill's taken June and the kids into his confidence, he might have told them what he's planning. Right now, they're too suspicious to talk to me about it, but they've got no reason to suspect you. Just remember, Bill's got them all pretty scared. It's not going to be easy.
With that, Roger Warwick walks off, and our task now is to interview his family members to see if any of them know what Bill's plans were. I think it's interesting that this synth instinctively referred to them as his family, his wife and kids. He tried to brush it off as just being something he was accustomed to doing, so it came naturally to him, but his response almost seemed sad, as if he was sad that they weren't really his wife and kids. Could it be that this synth has begun to like this life he has here? Could he really love Roger's wife and kids? Heading into the main house, we find a few people here who came in from the fields. We'll start by talking with Janie, the daughter.
I'm sorry, but I'm not supposed to talk to you.
What do you mean? Why not?
Foreman Bill says we shouldn't trust any strangers who come to visit Daddy.
Fine. Maybe I won't try to save your father's life. I don't care. I need information, and you're going to give it to me. Look, your father's in danger, and I'm trying to help him.
I don't know what's going on, okay? Dad's acting weird. Mom won't talk to him anymore. And now Foreman Bill says Dad's one of those robots who looks like people. I don't understand any of it. I just wish things would go back to normal.
If we choose any of those options or if we fail the charisma check, that ends the conversation. But if we pass the charisma check...
Well, okay. If you really are trying to help, then I guess I can talk to you. The truth is, I'm really scared for Daddy. Foreman Bill says he's a synth and he has to be dealt with. He gave Cedric a lot of money and told him to go to Goodneighbor. I don't know why. Please, if you really want to help Daddy, find out what Cedric and Bill are up to and stop them.
So Bill gave Cedric a bunch of money and sent him to Goodneighbor. Oh God. We find Bill here nearby. We could try to talk with him.
I've nothing to say to you, stranger. Another one of Roger's mysterious friends, huh? You ain't earned my trust, so we got nothing to talk about.
But he doesn't seem to want to talk with us. Do we really stand out that much? However, we can learn about Cedric's trip to Goodneighbor from the other family members as well. Heading outside, we find the son, Wally, minding the fields.
Well, hello.
Sorry, mister, but I'm not supposed to talk to strangers.
Who told you that?
My mom. She says until she figures things out, we can't trust anybody.
You're not being very helpful here, kid.
Don't get mad at me. It's not my fault. I have to do what Mom says.
I've got ways of making you talk, kid. Don't make me use them.
I'm not scared of you. My dad taught me how to shoot a gun.
Well, I'm not a stranger. I'm a friend of your father's, and I'm here to help him.
I know all my dad's friends, and you're not one of them. Anyway, now I'm talking to you, and I'm gonna get in trouble. So I'm not gonna say anything else.
If we choose any of those options or fail the charisma check, he walks away. But if we pass the charisma check...
Oh, good. I'm really glad you're here, because I'm scared something bad is gonna happen to my dad. Foreman Bill said Dad's a synth. That's like a robot who looks like a real person. Foreman Bill said he had an idea to take care of our synth problem. He gave Cedric some caps and sent him to Goodneighbor. I wish they would just leave my dad alone.
Take care of the synth problem. Sounds like Cedric went to Goodneighbor to hire a hitman. But there is one more member of the family who can shed some light on this situation. Annoyingly, I found her floating in this big tank. And it's really hard to get there. Heading up into this floating pod, we see a bunch of stuff that we can't loot yet without making people angry. Opening a side door, we see that the bridge going across this tank is broken. And this isn't the tank that the wife is in. The gap to the other side of the bridge is too far to jump. The only way across I found was to jump onto this little lip and carefully walk all the way around it until we get to the other side. Oh, right, but this side has a big pipe in the way. So we gotta go all the way back around and climb onto this lip until we get to the other side. Here we find another little house with a few minor containers inside, including a Vault-Tec lunchbox. And opening this door, we arrive at the tank where the wife is swimming. But annoyingly, we can't talk to characters who are underwater. So the only way to get around this is to sleep or wait until a different time of day, whereupon the characters will reset or move around. But I didn't have time for that, so I used console commands to free her from the water. Once outside, we can talk to her.
Excuse me.
Is this something important? Because I'm not really in the mood for a chat right now.
Trouble with your husband?
As a matter of fact, yes.
It might help to talk about your troubles.
Maybe you're right.
Look, lady, I don't appreciate being brushed off.
Of course not. I'm sorry. I'm being rude.
Sounds like things are tough. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you for saying so. I'm just feeling, I don't know, conflicted, I guess. My husband has changed, and it's not a bad thing. He's actually a better man than he used to be. I just don't understand why. Meanwhile, our foreman has this crazy idea that Roger's been replaced by a synth.
And you actually believe him?
I honestly don't know what to believe. It's true Roger's been acting different, but is he a synth? That just sounds so far-fetched.
Sounds like your foreman's lost his mind.
I don't know what to think anymore.
If your husband's trying to be a better man, you should be more grateful.
Oh, I suppose you're right. Maybe people really can change for the better.
If your husband wants to be a better man, you should support him.
You're right. I'm his wife. I should stand at his side no matter what. You won't change Bill's mind, though. He gave Cedric a pile of caps and sent him off somewhere. I think he's trying to get outside help. They were talking about Goodneighbor. I've heard some pretty bad things about that place. If you can find out what's going on and put a stop to it, you'd have our gratitude.
And talking with June is the only way we can get this information without having to pass a charisma check. This adds an interesting wrinkle to the plot. The original Roger Warwick was a bad man. How was he bad? Was he a drunk? Did he beat his wife? We don't know. But clearly this synth is a better person. We kind of got the impression that he actually liked, maybe even loved, June and the kids. And he clearly treats them better than Roger did. If we expose the fact that he's a synth, would that really be best for June and the kids? Or is it the better option to leave them with a lie? A lie and a fraud who actually cares for them. At any rate, our goal is clear. We need to head to Goodneighbor. We've already explored much of Warwick Homestead. Really all that we've missed is a shed just outside the homestead, but there's nothing inside of it. We'll give this place a thorough examination in the light of day. But for now, we head to Goodneighbor. Arriving at Goodneighbor, we can go to the one place where a weary traveler from the Warwick homestead would be likely to stop, and that is at the third rail. Now, I covered all of Goodneighbor's lore, all of the quests, all of the stories in a series on Goodneighbor that you can watch here. That includes a video on the third rail, on the singer Magnolia, and everything else that can happen here. It's a densely packed location with a lot to explore and uncover. Of immediate interest is a perk magazine that we find in the men's restroom in one of the stalls atop one of the toilet tanks.
Hell yeah.
Live and Love, Advice from Married Men. He raised 10 kids and lived to tell about it. Companions permanently gain +5 damage resistance and energy resistance. But to stay focused, we need to head to the bar, where we find Cedric drinking away thoughtfully.
I want to know what you and Bill Sutton are planning.
Yeah? What's it to you?
Answer my question. Why did Bill send you here?
I heard you twice the first time, stranger.
You don't need to know why. Just trust me when I say it's important.
Friend, I don't know where you're from, but let me tell you something. Here in the Commonwealth, it takes a hell of a lot more to earn a man's trust than just your say-so.
Bill Sutton has lost his mind, and now an innocent man might get hurt.
I know Bill Sutton a lot better than you, and I know he ain't crazy. We've both seen some things that don't make sense. We just want answers.
I don't want to see an innocent man come to harm over a false accusation.
And if it's not a false accusation? Thing is, I don't see how any of this is your goddamn business. Unless maybe Roger put you up to this. Tell you what, though. Maybe we can help each other out. If I've learned anything here, it's that information's got a price. Just like everything else. I got no particular loyalty to Bill Sutton or to Roger Warwick. So make me an offer, and let's see what happens.
You don't care about Roger's family? Not even his children?
You really aren't from around here, are you? The people who survive in this world are the ones who look out for themselves first. Now, are we gonna do business?
A man's life is at stake and you're fishing for a bribe. You're pathetic.
That's the sort of offer you'd expect from a raider.
Then I guess this conversation's over.
We have two options here. We can pay a 500 cap bribe.
If that's what it takes, fine.
Well now, looks like I can help you after all.
In which case he spills the beans, or we can try to pass a charisma check.
I know you're in a tough situation here, but lives are at stake. Please help me.
Think about Mr. Warwick's family.
Don't pretend you understand my situation, because you don't. How about you just stay out of things that don't concern you?
But if we pass the charisma check, we get the same information we would have gotten had we bribed him.
Bill isn't the only one who's afraid. People all over the Commonwealth are talking about this institute. But maybe you're right. Maybe we are letting that fear get the best of us. Well, truth is, this whole trip was a damn fool idea if you ask me. Bill hands me a fistful of caps and says, go to Goodneighbor. They got all kinds of shady characters there. Find us a mercenary. So I'm supposed to find some contract killer like I know how, and then hire him to take out Roger. First I agreed, but now I'm thinking to hell with Bill Sutton. I'll just stick around here for a while. Of course, he's probably figured out that I ain't coming back. Might just take matters into his own hands. As frightened as he is, the man's capable of just about anything.
Now, if we try to kill Cedric, we discover that he's immortal. We can't kill him, and no one in the third rail seems to mind us trying. We could try to steal from him, and on his inventory we do see the 500 caps he talked about. And that's it. There's no note, no holotape, just money, ammunition, and some food. Bear this in mind for later. And we could steal this money, but this is a really difficult place to steal it from. You'll notice I've got a 0% chance of succeeding. Even with higher stealth skill, we're in a bar surrounded by people looking at us. However, it may be our only opportunity depending on the choices we make. We will have one other opportunity to get this money later. But at any rate, it's true. Bill did want Cedric to hire a hitman. But Cedric's not going to do it. He's going to stay in Goodneighbor, which means Bill's going to take matters into his own hands. We've got to head back to the Warwick homestead. And pronto. We arrive at dawn, but there's no one working in the fields. Heading inside the house.
One way or another, you're going to admit what you really are. When you do, everyone will know the real Roger Warwick is dead and gone.
But he's right here, Bill.
Bill, you're insane. Please, I'm begging you. Let's just talk about this.
I know you're part of this. You probably killed the real Roger so this thing could take his place.
Is this what you really want, Bill? To kill an innocent man and destroy a family?
An innocent man's already been killed, and this thing pretending to be Roger ain't him.
Calm down, Bill. You're letting fear get the better of you.
I should be afraid. Everyone should. These synths are everywhere.
Put down that gun, Bill.
Not happening, stranger.
There's no need for violence here. Let's talk things over.
You're stalling. You're gonna try to talk me down. And then when I'm not expecting it, you'll get the drop on me. Who the hell are you, anyway? I'll tell you who you are. You're one of them! You show up out of nowhere, have your secret chat with Roger, and the next thing I see, you're off looking for Cedric! That's right, I figured it out. I know you're up to something, and I ain't gonna trust a word you say!
Do you really want to leave these children without a father?
Their real father's long gone! And I'm guessing you people had a hand in that.
Whatever action you take here, you'd better be prepared for the consequences.
That goes for both of us.
We have two options. We could attack Bill.
I'm ending this right now.
Oh, damn. Here we go. A good show all around.
And he goes down pretty easily. With Bill dead, we gain control of the Warwick homestead as a settlement. And we get 250 bottle caps. On Bill's body, we find a goodbye letter. Bill, it's over. I mean it this time. You aren't the man I married anymore. That Bill wouldn't have sold our Brahmin for chems. You're a mean, abusive drunk, and we're done. Margie still can't see clearly in her right eye. Just stop and think about that. You may have blinded your own daughter. The kids and I are leaving, and if you even think of coming after us, Russell has already said he'll kill you if he ever sees you again, and I've half a mind to let him. Mary. Bill became a foreman at the Warwick homestead after his wife and children left him for being an abusive drunk and for beating his kids. And we know what happened to his family. I won't spoil it here, but I did an entire video on the Sutton family and what happened to his wife and children after they left him. You can watch that story by clicking here, but fair warning, it's not a happy one. But we begin to understand Bill's motivations here. Bill was a good man, but after turning to drink, he became an abuser. He was attracted to Roger Warwick, who was also a bad man. The two of them were probably close friends, each one enabling the other's behavior. But then Roger Warwick completely changes his personality and becomes a good man. Now Bill is left here at the Warwick homestead wondering what exactly happened. How does he fit in? Seeing a changed Roger Warwick filled Bill with shame, but instead of changing his own behavior and addressing his own failings, he decided to believe that there was something wrong with Roger. And he was right. It turns out he was a synth, but it was a convenient way for him to ignore his own flaws and project them onto someone else. If we kill Bill, we can talk with the synth of Roger Warwick.
Thank God you were here.
You okay?
Yeah, mostly. I thought for sure I was a dead man.
What happened to set him off like that?
Bill was already on edge. But Cedric hadn't come back yet, and then you showed up. I guess he figured his time had run out, and he decided to take things into his own hands.
You're lucky I got here when I did.
Yeah, you're right.
You were careless. You let your guard down, and it almost got you killed.
I know. I guess I was hoping we could convince Bill he was wrong. Guess I didn't realize how desperate he was.
I'm just glad that you and your family are safe now.
Well, we're in your debt. You can tell our mutual friends that I'll get those seeds in the ground and have a report ready soon. In the meantime, you'll be safe out there.
But instead of attacking and killing Bill, we could call his bluff.
It's your decision, but I don't think you'll pull that trigger.
There's no turning back now. Not for me. So what do you plan to do, stranger? Are you ready to take a bullet for a synth?
Which, interestingly, is the same thing Desdemona asks us.
And you? Will you really risk your life to prove an insane theory?
Guess you're about to find out. Oh, no!
If we choose that option, he attacks.
I guess we're not going to settle this with words.
Now that we can agree on.
In which case, he attacks. We could again attack him.
You leave me no choice.
You crazy?
Which leads to the same outcome. Or we could try to pass a charisma check. And if we fail...
If it means protecting innocent people from a madman, yes.
Then let's get on with it.
He attacks. But if we succeed...
A madman? Is that what you think I am? I know what I've seen. At least, I think I do. What else could explain it? None of you believe me, do you? Am I really crazy? I don't know. I was so sure about Roger. Jesus, what if I'm wrong? What if I was about to... right in front of June and the kids? I have to leave. I'm sorry. I need to sort things out. I've lost sight of things.
Bill Sutton walks away, and we can talk to Roger.
Bill was a good man once. I don't know what happened to him.
And after this, he has the same dialogue tree that he gets if we kill Bill. We can talk to June and the kids.
Got a few things for trade, if you're interested. Lord knows it wasn't always that way.
What have you got?
Got some ripe mute fruit and potatoes. Might be a gourd or two as well. Also got some ammunition, stems, you know, the basics. What do you say?
Sure. Let's take a look.
June becomes a merchant, and she has a small inventory of weapons, armor, consumables, and junk. But more importantly, she has a tidy stash of caps to barter with. The kids seem cheerful.
Mom's a really great cook. It's nice to have a lot of food. We used to only eat once a day.
Well, hello.
Everyone used to be sick and hungry. I was scared we were all gonna die.
And if Wally is to be believed, the experiments that the Institute are doing here at Warwick Homestead are greatly improving crop quality, to the point where they don't go hungry anymore. If we manage to talk Bill down, he walks outside of Warwick Homestead, sits on the ground by the fence, and puts his head in his knees.
I'm a worthless son of a bitch. That's what I am. How could I be so selfish? I lost sight of the man I should be. I'll never see the Warwicks again. I don't deserve to.
There is, of course, another way we can resolve this quest. We could just kill Roger.
Part of this.
If we do, the adult members of his family turn hostile, but we can't kill them because they're set to immortal. And even if we kill Roger right in front of Bill, he has no reaction. But of course, killing Roger has implications back at the Institute. Notably, however, Roger does not have a synth component. But of course, he really should. This is another example of the game's loot tables not always accurately representing the game's lore. Gabriel didn't have a synth component, Glory doesn't have a synth component, Roger doesn't have a synth component, but they're all synths. Now that we own the Warwick Homestead as a settlement, we can head into the main floating pod and loot the end of dungeon steamer trunk, which has some caps, a small amount of ammunition, weapons, and armor. In the other floating pod, we find a mini-nuke in the arm of a skeleton, and exploring the grounds around the Warwick Homestead, we find a number of displays that were likely put up by the kids. Near to one bed, we find an alien, a globe, a rocket, and a teddy bear, and blocks that spell the word hi. At the back of the main shack, we find another display of toys. Here we find an alien strapped to a rocket with flowers beneath it and blocks that spell the word bye. Then, in a crack between the tank and the main shack, we find a teddy bear wearing a captain's hat, riding a giddy-up buttercup wearing a sailor's hat next to a life ring and a bunch of wooden blocks and a car. But these blocks don't appear to spell anything. When ready, we can head back to the Institute and move into bioscience to report to Dr. Karlin. And if we killed Roger Warwick...
You made a real mess of things at Warwick Homestead. Oh yes, we know all about what happened. I told you to be discreet, and you blatantly disregarded that directive. Now what do you have to say for yourself?
How did you know what happened up there?
We monitor our surface operations carefully. If you think you can sabotage our efforts and get away with it, you're very mistaken.
Look, sometimes things don't go the way you planned. That's life.
Is that supposed to excuse your behavior? How disappointing. I hoped you would at least have the sense to take responsibility for your actions.
I don't owe you an explanation, Doctor. You have no authority over me.
Yes, well, you should know that I'll be reporting this to Father and the rest of the Directorate.
I'm sorry. I guess I just lost control.
That's hardly a satisfactory explanation. Your carelessness has jeopardized months of research. The entire project will have to be suspended indefinitely, at best. In the meantime, I suggest that you think very carefully about whether you truly belong here.
He seems to think that we might actively be acting against the Institute. I suppose that's a logical presumption to make, considering the only way for Roger to die in this quest is if we kill him. Bill never fires at Roger. Or, if we completed the quest successfully...
I delivered the seeds.
Good. I trust everything went smoothly.
And Nate's responses to this question don't change whether or not we killed Bill.
Does it really matter how smoothly it went?
Being a member of the Institute means holding yourself to a higher standard. It means efficiency and diligence, attention to detail, and an exacting thoroughness. It's not enough just to do a job. It must be done well. At any rate, I'm sure you did the best you could.
Not sure I'd call it smooth, but it's taken care of.
Good enough, I suppose.
Hardly.
Don't tell me the simple act of carrying a packet of seeds from point A to point B proved difficult for you. On second thought, don't answer that. It'll just discourage me. I have little enough faith in people as it is. I'd prefer not to lose any more.
Yeah, pretty much.
Splendid, splendid. Here you are, then. Something to aid in your future missions, courtesy of the Bioscience Division. That will be all. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
And as a reward, we get 20 stim packs. But remember, we already got 250 bottle caps after gaining Warwick Homestead as a settlement. With that, we complete the quest, Building a Better Crop. If we completed the quest, saved Roger Warwick, and come back to the settlement at a later time, we see that the experiment has indeed borne fruit. Off on the corner of the property, close to where we talked with Roger Warwick, we find a huge gourd. It's orange, but it's shaped like a watermelon. It's like a pumpkin melon, maybe. We can harvest the gourds around it, but sadly we can't harvest this one. And the family members have noticed it.
Did you see that huge gourd growing by the fence? I've never seen anything like it.
One of the gourds is growing in really huge. You should take a look at the gourd patch. We've got a prize winner for sure.
Our hero returns. Hope you're doing well.
If, however, we come back to the Warwick homestead after having failed the quest and killed Roger Warwick, we find that Cedric is back. What?
Would not mind a strong drink.
Just looking to trade a little.
Sure thing.
Even though we fail it, we still gain the Warwick homestead as a settlement, and Cedric appears to come back. Because he's a settler, we can access his inventory. We can freely loot the 500 caps, and we find Bill's letter on his inventory. This is the letter Bill gave to Cedric to take to Goodneighbor to find a hitman. We should have been able to find it on his inventory in the third rail, but it's not there. We only get it if Cedric comes back. My name is Bill Sutton, and I'm the foreman at Warwick Homestead. We got a little synth problem here, and I'm looking for a hired gun to take care of it. The man you're after is called Roger Warwick, except he ain't actually a man at all. He's a damn synth spy. Those Institute bastards grabbed the real Roger, and they put this faker in his place. Well, they might have fooled Roger's wife and kids, but they ain't fooled me. Take these caps as half your fee. I'll give you another 500 when the deed is done, but I don't want any of this to connect back to me. I plan to take over the farm when Roger's gone, and I need it to look legitimate. Don't take your time either. I want this done soon, or I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, and then you missed your chance at an even bigger haul than what you already got. Ooh, and here we see that Bill has potentially a darker motive. If killing Roger the Synth wasn't dark enough already, he planned to take over the farm. Maybe it really wasn't about Roger being a synth. Maybe it was about Bill wanting Roger's land. We find the rest of Roger's family walking around, and they don't seem to particularly care about the fact that Roger is dead.
Dad's been really nice lately. He didn't used to.
But oddly enough, we also find Bill Sutton here. In this instance, I had killed Roger, then convinced Bill to leave the farm. But after coming back, Bill returned. With Roger gone, I guess he felt like he just wanted to take over things. And Bill actually has a purpose. He'll buy your potatoes. Oddly enough, he doesn't have any dialogue when you first greet him. However, the dialogue tree allows us to barter potatoes with him, and he'll buy our potatoes for 2 caps apiece.
How much was it for the potatoes?
2 caps each.
I'll hang on to what I've got for now.
Then we're done here.
I'm not looking to sell anything right now.
Have it your way.
Yeah, here you go.
Here's your caps.
But again, this only happens if Roger is dead. If we come having completed the quest by saving Roger, Bill, of course, is nowhere to be found, either because we killed him or because he exiled himself. And Cedric never returns, because remember, he decided to stay at the third rail. Sadly, we don't find an outcome for this quest where we reveal to June and the kids that Roger really is a synth. But of course, I suppose that makes sense, as we only get this quest when we are working on behalf of the Institute. And as an agent of the Institute, we would be unlikely to divulge that information anyway. But I'm curious to see how the kids would have responded. I would have liked a version of this quest where we could reveal the truth to them and then guide them through a choice whether or not to accept the synth Roger Warwick or reject him. But sadly, our only option is to go along with the Institute's ruse. The real Roger Warwick has likely been turned into a super mutant. All that's left for this family is this synth, who by all accounts is a better man. And therefore, this family is better off because the Institute chose to experiment with them. But there are more Institute experiments we can participate in, more plots to uncover, more decisions to make. I publish new Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss the next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in another way, consider sending me a super thanks on this video. Your super thanks directly contribute to the production of this series. You could become a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4.